Hi, my name is Queen, and welcome to Alchemy Ascension. This is actually my first video here, and I want to address the changes that we are going through, both spiritually, metaphysically, and the things that you can do to help yourself, right? Y'all may have heard that we are going through an ascension process, that the veil is thinning, but I know some people aren't aware of what is going on within themselves, okay? And I want to be able to be a resource to help people understand or get an idea of what is happening with them, because the world is shifting, but you are shifting on the inside too. So I want to give you an understanding, or at least an angle, from how I see it, my angle, how I see it. And, what resonates with you is what resonates with you, but make sure you do your own research. But also, I want to provide you with some techniques that I know that can assist with the ascension process, with elevating your frequency and help you feel more grounded. But when you understand what is going on with you, when you have that level of awareness, that makes a world of a difference, and it alleviates fear, right? And we're doing this on 33 portal. It is March 3rd, and it is like very telling with me finally being able to create this video. And it's a lunar eclipse, my bad. It's a lunar eclipse going on. I have been trying to get this together for I would say years, because spirit has been showing me the signs that, oh, you're supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be teaching, what you know to help people. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But because I don't want this video to be like about me. I want this to be about the information that I know that can help a whole bunch of people, because it helped me and it helps my clients. But let me introduce myself. Like I said, my name is Queen. I am a spiritualist, a psychic, holistic life coach. I'm certified in Reiki. I have been studying for several years, and it seems like you, if you pay attention, you've been on your spiritual journey since you got here. Because I could say, oh, I really started to try to intentionally get more information about myself and about this world going on 11 years ago. But I could say that it started way before then, when I started to meet people when I was in undergrad, giving me bits and pieces of information about religion and what religion truly is. But then I can go all the way back and say I've been learning since I was a child, since I've had like a mother who was aware of many things, her brothers who was highly awake and knew what this world was or is. So I've been studying for a long time. I have a couple of degrees in psychology. I have my master's is in clinical psychology. So I have a background in mental health. But what has actually helped me was combining the things that I learned in psychology and what I learned after college regarding spirituality and metaphysics, from people like Brother Hemmett, my bad, Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, Dr. Phil Valentine, Dr. Sabi. And I first and foremost have to mention Khadijah Samdi, which is the late Brother Panic's wife. That is one of the women outside of my family that has helped me tremendously, and the list go on and on and on. All right. So I've had a lot of great teachers before me that was able to help me get an understanding of who I am and what this world is, and what we could do. Your life is what you make it. Okay, you are here to create not just to learn, but you are here to create, right? So to help me stay on track, because I tend to channel a lot of information while I am talking, and it can be distracting. I have to pull up some slides so I can stay focused. I'm used to channeling and reading tarot cards because tarot cards actually ground me, and I'm able to focus on like one card at a time. Cards are just tools. You know, you are the magic. You are the the vessel where that the information comes through, but you could use like symbols around you to help guide you and to help anchor you in a certain message. But I'm going to pull up some slides to help me focus. Okay, so I want to talk about what is happening. I already said that, I think I did, that we're going through an ascension process. And what an ascension process is a rise in consciousness. Okay. And as we rise up or raise up, you got to drop baggage. You have to let go of things that do not serve you, things that have been holding you back, limiting beliefs, trauma, things that you wish that you never did, or things that are just now misaligned, okay? And there's things that's coming up to the surface that can make you uncomfortable, that they need to be healed and they need to be released, okay? It's really time to get into alchemy and transmuting your energy so you could have your heaven on earth. What is also happening as we go through this ascension process is that the veil is like dissolving. I know some people are now even saying that it don't even exist anymore. Okay? And what the veil is an energetic layer that was like energy separation between conscious awareness and deeper truth. Um, and you could say in this 3D world, you can call it the matrix, okay? An energetic layer between those things. Also, who we think we are and who we actually are at the soul level, okay? And there's a difference. A lot of people have not been living authentically. With the veil being gone, it's difficult to not be yourself, because all you will face is resistance, or certain things aren't going your way. You got to stop lying to yourself. And then there's the physical dimension and other dimensions, both the higher and lower. So the higher dimensions are realms of elevated consciousness, like light, love, unity, truth, where your higher self, spirit, guides, angels, and ascended masters reside, and other energies on an elevated frequency. And yes, your higher self. Your higher self, think of your higher self as like being a spiritual double, but it is the true you. These are frequencies of clarity, peace, love, and divine wisdom. But I want to backtrack to the higher self. So your higher self can see days, weeks, years down the line, even different timelines, and it's much more calmer than the you here. And I heard Sister Myra, she had been saying this for years before this time came, is that you're really going to have to tap in with your spirit and trust your spirit. But part of the issue is people don't trust themselves, and we will get into that soon. Then there's the lower dimensions, which include densities of fear, manipulation, deception, shadows, and heavy attachments. This is where lower vibrational entities, thought forms, and chaotic energies exist. Lower frequencies feed on division, unhealed wounds, survival energy, and even an attachment to materialism. So we are actually, like I said, things are coming up to the surface. And the more that you fight it, like the harder that you make it on yourself, right? And if you stay in certain like lower vibrational frequencies, it's literally entities that like to feed off people's light source. They like to feed off people, or life force, like to feed off people going through these like staying in low vibrational frequencies. We'll talk about that later too. But let me address the attachment to materialism. So, attachment to materialism is what's really getting people right now. They're afraid to let go. It's not to say that you're supposed to give up your house, your home, and this, that, and the third, but it's like attachment. You're supposed to be in this world and not of it. And I'm not saying that you're not supposed to like nice things. I do like nice things. But attaching your value and worth to material possessions is something that is a problem. And that's what I truly believe part of the that statement means to be in this world and not of it. People attach their value, their worth, their identity to things outside of them, which of course causes major issues when they lose those things or feel like they can't get certain things. Like for instance, some people feel like they're not good enough if they're not driving a certain car. Like you should feel like the same high value person whether you're driving a Mercedes or a Nissan Altima, or any other car. You should know who you are, and you should feel good no matter what, because your abundance comes from within. Okay. Outside of that, like people attach themselves to people. And when they can't get a certain type of person, or say for instance their relationship ends, um, they feel, and that likely was a toxic or a codependent relationship in some way, fashion, or form, because you're dependent on them to make you feel good. They feel less than because they can't have certain things, or they can't have that person. That type of attachment gets you trapped in the 3D. All right. You shouldn't be idolizing people or things. And it's not to say that you're not supposed to have a relationship with a good person. It's not to say that you're not supposed to live comfortably in the house that you desire. It's attaching your worth to it. And that literally makes you stuck, because it's showing that your abundance comes outside of you, and it doesn't. Your abundance comes from within you. You should know that you have everything you need when you need it, because you are connected to something that is infinite and beautiful and abundant. All right. Um, Now, like the acceleration of the veil dissolving. I'm not sure exactly when the veil started to thin. I don't know that, and I would be lying if I told you that. But I could tell you from my experience, I saw an acceleration in 2023. Like, not only did my psychic abilities enhance greatly, I got new abilities. More gifts were coming to the surface. But I also, at that same time, I was doing a lot of holistic things to help me release things that did not serve me. And that is when I realized that to elevate your frequency, it don't take a lot. It just takes consistency and dedication. I also saw, like, I was seeing beneath people's masks. I was seeing exactly what they were lying about, and because you can't hide that type of stuff anymore. It's just that everything started to shift so much faster. And I've talked to quite a few people who were experiencing the same thing. Okay. I knew people who were experiencing like a lot of different spiritual things, or some gifts were popping up for them that they weren't even into, like, spirituality. Okay, they weren't into like really like studying consciousness, but they were coming online. I also started to see active shifts in timelines, and I was like jumping timelines like crazy. I got more deeply into the Akashic records. I was researching the Akashic records like like I was surfing the internet. I could just close my eyes and see the Akashic records. And that acceleration made me realize that a big thing was about to occur. We were about to have a lot of changes. But let's go to this next slide. What people are experiencing: awakening signs. Now, these signs aren't new. These signs, people who have awakened, they've seen this before, but it's more people going through this now. And a lot of people haven't been prepared, they haven't studied, or they just got caught off guard, um, because like things are just moving faster. I um i heard Blue Oracle mention um a couple of months ago that people were going to like even, I, I don't want to misquote her, but she was basically saying that, I know she said a lot of people were going to wake up and it was going to happen fast, something like that. But check out Miss Blue. I don't know her exact name on there, but I know it's like Miss Blue or Miss Blue Oracle. She's amazing. But some of the awakening signs that you may be experiencing is heightened intuition, like way more, even if you are intuitive. Suddenly hearing people's thoughts, I hear that like so consistently. I be having to tell people like, stop talking to me. And by the way, I don't even have to say this, but I know the difference between medical, like mental health diagnosis and spirituality. Okay, got a whole degree in it. And I am very, very functional, I want to say this. But hearing people's thoughts, benevolent energy visitation, I've experienced that. I know quite a few people who have cosmic contact, and if you know, you know. All right, we'll probably make a video about that, but I've been having cosmic contact for years, and probably since I was a child and didn't realize it. But this is the type of stuff that like running my family members have gone through this even before I even got here. I actually have an aunt who told my mother that her daughters were coming and what gifts that they were have. So this is something my family has been experiencing for a long time. Sensations of energy or light moving through your body that can make you feel uncomfortable. We're going to talk about some things that you can do for this. A deep awareness that feels like arriving fully awake on earth, increased sensitivity, questioning old beliefs, which is actually necessary. And you will see why once we get to like talking about the subconscious mind, because a lot of people don't understand how their mind works, and what their mind is trying to tell them. A strong inner pull to change, emotional release, like crying, like why am I crying out of nowhere? I was just fine. Emotion, I already say emotional release, synchronicities and signs, discomfort with old patterns, like you may not want to be around people like you used to, the type of people that you were. You may be having issues in relationships because of those patterns are just misaligned. And this one is big. Grieving the old version of you and others. All right. I've been through this, and when something and certain people are just out of alignment, you got to let them go. And if they meet you back on your higher elevated path, then it just is what it is. All right. But what comes along with these symptoms are other symptoms, okay? That many people may not be knowing why it's happening. This can look like stress, anxiety, deep sadness or grief, or just, you could say, depressive feelings, psychic sensitivities, and confusion, because you may not be understanding why you're experiencing any of these notable signs or symptoms just in general. Okay. I don't want to make this video too long. I'm not sure how long I've been going so far, but I do want to talk about like what like stress, anxiety, depressive feelings are from like a conventional sense and metaphysical, right? So stress is basically your body's response to pressure. It's what happens when something requires your attention, your energy, or an adjustment. And usually it's connected to something specific like work, money, relationships, family responsibilities, like health, paying bills, obligations, you know. It's something that makes your nervous system like go up, feel like you have something that you need to take care of like right now. Okay. It also can make you tired. And it's not just physical, it could be biochemical. Or I could say it's not just emotional, it could be physical and biochemical. For instance, it can cause chronic inflammation, nutrient deficiencies. You can get stressed from too many processed foods, environmental toxins, hormone disruptors, not sleeping well. Combine that with all the other things that you got going on, like your obligations. You got to make money. You got to be a wife, a husband, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, some type of commitment. You got family responsibilities. You got to work, okay? You can even look calm on the outside, how I used to look, but like have low grade stress on the inside, or you got like this volcano, like this explosion, because you taking on so much and you're not releasing. Now, metaphysically, stress is an energetic overload. And when your energy is stretched beyond its natural capacity, basically you got too many demands. You're doing too much. You giving too much, and you're not replenishing. You become out of sync. Okay, so that's what I feel stress is on a conventional and metaphysical, like from a conventional and metaphysical point of view. And then you got anxiety. So anxiety is very future focused. It's like your nervous system is anticipating a threat, a potential threat, uncertainty, or some type of danger, but there's like no immediate problem to solve. And you know, some people may just have anxiety and there's nothing in your environment that is triggering the anxiety. And it's like it could be your external environment not triggering it, but it's your internal environment that's triggering it. Okay, we will talk about that because some of your anxiety could have been passed down, and I know a lot about that. But metaphysically, anxiety is just internal dissonance. All right. Some people can experience anxiety, and it's really their intuitive senses, and they are very empathic, and they don't know how to operate their gift. All right. Depressive feelings is more than just sadness, but sadness can come with the ascension symptoms. Let me talk right. But I'm seeing a lot of people go through these shifts that we are experiencing, like more on the depressive side, because things are very heavy. You got to drop the baggage. Okay. People are feeling numb or flat. They're struggling to get out of bed. They're struggling to have motivation. Some people feel hopeless. And part of this video is that I want to give people hope, to let them realize that there's things that they could do. Okay. People aren't eating well, and they're having difficulty concentrating, mental fog. Okay. They don't have the energy. Some people are upset, presenting as upset, but whole time they're like, they depressed, or they're heartbroken. Now, you know, people can still be functional while they have these feelings. They can still be working. They can still love their family, love their partner, but they're having a difficult time feeling better, you know? And metaphysically, this is like a signal that your life force energy is low. It needs to be elevated. And there's things that you can do to elevate your frequency. Now, psychic sensitivity, basically you're highly attuned to energy, including other people's emotions and mental states. Okay. So doing energetic shifts, they can be it could be confusing if you haven't learned more about who you are and how to operate. Like it's really a gift how to operate this gift. Some people can experience like sudden headaches or pressure in their head, tingling sensations, ringing in the ears, vivid, like your dreams are more vivid. You're getting visions that are more vivid. And some people could say that they are experiencing intrusive thoughts, but whole time it's just you tapping into other energy. And I'll be talking about that soon. But the psychic sensitivity, if you aren't aware of what's going on, it could make you feel like you are crazy or that you're overthinking, which can also cause anxiety. Why people are experiencing all of these is because we're going through the ascension process. The veil is thinning, but it's time to heal and transmute the energy, like I said. And are you going to allow your inner and your outer world to change? Because when your inner world changes, your outer world can change, because it's as within, so without, as above, so below. Did I say that backwards? But y'all get what I mean. And this is the perfect time where you can like manifest the life that you really want to live. You could literally be anything that you want to be. So where do you start with this is by looking at yourself, okay? To get through these shifts, to release the stress, the anxiety, to heal trauma, you have to look at yourself. All right, I got a typo here, but it's all good. So how you do that? What habits, situations, or people contribute to feelings of stress, anxiety, or depression? You got to start looking at your environment, okay? How do you find yourself in certain situations? So you got to look at you. Look at your conversations and your behavioral patterns. What triggers certain things? What triggers your anxiety? What triggers depressive feelings, anger, you being pissed off, or what has done it in the past? What is your role in all of it? Because it's not just other people. It's not just situations. It's you too. What is one realistic change that you can make to bring you relief? You could think of one right now. Think of habits or situations, and think of one realistic thing that you could change. For instance, like say you have a relationship and you know it's toxic. What are you doing to continue this toxicity? What is your behavior? Because people are always talking about how, well, that person toxic, but you attracted that person. So there's some level of toxic energy that's within you that attracted that person and created some type of connection with them? What can you change within yourself to make sure you don't do that anymore? What behaviors can you change? Because when you get clear on the behaviors, why you operate the way that you operate, you can change that, and you can change the energy within you, and then you stop to attract people on that frequency. Okay, start with changing your behaviors. I feel like I'm skipping ahead of the slides. I just didn't want to forget stuff, so I have them in a certain order. So another thing that you could do after self-reflection with some honest responses is evaluating your environment. So you want to look at your home. How is your home set up? Your home is typically a reflection of your mind. I always tell people this. I was not able, when I was younger, to do my homework when I was a kid without my room being clean. Something always like told me, clean up your room first, because I'm able to focus when I have a clear space. Because objects hold energy, and when you got stuff everywhere, it could challenge your level of focus. Like right now, I'm remodeling one of my units that I live in. And I had to learn how to focus when you just got shit everywhere. That was my challenge. And I am facing that challenge, and finally winning. But I do got some neat spaces in my home. It helps. But you got to learn how your mind works. So my spirit started to show me how my mind worked when I was a child. So look at your environment, see how you're living, let your environment speak to you. So I used to do plant medicine trips responsibly, and when I was on a shroom trip, I realized that everything is always communicating to you at all times. Okay, it's literally like one verse, a universe. And that's how I realized that you can divine from everything, from tarot cards to pendulums to billboard signs outside to commercials. Everything is always communicating with you. All right. And look at the people surrounding you. I kind of touched on this in the self-reflection, and that makes sense that I did it like that, seeing as though people in your environment are kind of like an extension of you. And I'm talking about like your relationships. Look within your relationships. Are there unhealthy boundaries? Is there codependency? Is there imbalance? It's taking at least two people, so you do have a role in that. You really gotta look at yourself and things that are around you. Your consumption habits. Now, this is extremely important because this is within you and on the outside of you. How are you eating and drinking? Food and drink can contribute to a cycle of anxiety, depressive feelings, and are you emotionally eating? Are you pulling towards the wrong food? If you are highly psychically sensitive, am I saying that right? I don't know, but I think y'all know what I mean. You really need to be mindful of what you are putting in your body. Okay. Food is information. If you like, I'm not against drinking, but over drinking is a problem. Like, just like overeating is a problem. Anything can become an addiction. But if you are over drinking because you are trying to numb or not feel certain things, I'm gonna tell you this: you're just gonna make it more difficult for you. And to get a bit spiritual or metaphysical, certain foods and drinks put holes in your energetic field. I learned that from a spiritualist named Khadijah. And having holes in your energetic fields is like energetic field is like an open door for for these like negative frequencies to influence you, cause you issues, mess with your mind, mess with your body. It leaves you too open, too susceptible. So look at that and see what are you emotionally pulling towards certain things. And certain foods and drink, like I said, it can make you feel anxious and you may not be aware of that. That's why it's important to know what is in your food. And besides that, you can have some healthy food created or made by a fucked up person, and now their energy is all over your food. So if you ain't like speaking over your food, changing the energy of your food, you are taking in the energy of that person. That's why it's so important for you to, like I said, speak over your food, but just be mindful of the people that's cooking your food. Like I tell men this a lot because I'm talking a lot, so I gotta slow down. And I'm only on I think I got like 10 slides left. Men need to be mindful of, and I'm saying this because a lot of women tend to cook, okay? Men need to be mindful of who they are eating off of, okay? Because everybody that's making you food don't love you, okay? And if they want something from you, they can manipulate your energy through food. I've seen it. And I'm not just singling out, I'm a woman. I'm a real woman. I'm not calling women bad, but it's really it's crazy. It's crazy women out here. So y'all need to be mindful. Okay, and media and music, social media, the things that we watch, it's all programming. Music, the music industry, y'all know by now that they are putting in front of you the people that they want to put in front of you to program you. Okay, so if you listening to like depressive stuff and you sad, it's just gonna keep you depressed. If you listening to like stuff that you know that make you anxious, it's just gonna make you more anxious. Like I'm from Chicago, the home of the drill. I like rap. I like hip hop. But if you really if you really listen to it, it's crazy. It is crazy, and it can make you crazy. And I see the influence that it has on impressionable minds. I don't know what's going on now, but it was so many young black men that wanted to make drill, and first of all, it wasn't even good. They was just programmed to make it because they were programmed to talk about shooting and killing, whatever, whatever, whatever. And or just getting high. Like most of them not even talking about like making money. They just talking about killing. It's by design. All right? But let's move on to this next slide. I just bumped my mic. Let's move on to this next slide. I gotta find a better position. Now, what you want to get to the point of is understanding your energy. Okay? So you have thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. All right? Every thought, emotion, behavior carries energy that influences your perception and your reality. All right? So when you have positive thoughts, they can lead to positive emotions, good behaviors, and it just cycles back into it. When you have negative thoughts, it leads to like lower vibrational emotions, lower vibrational behaviors, and and feeds right back into that cycle. So a lot of people do emotionally eat. So if you're not feeling good, you just want some type of comfort, you may pull towards some food that's not necessarily healthy for your body. And the problem is people are doing that all the time. Okay, you can have a cheat meal, whatever, but when you're consistently doing it all the time to make you feel good, all you're doing is making yourself sick. But you are engaging in certain behaviors that is out of alignment with the true reality that you may want to create, which is like a positive reality. What you focus on internally often manifests externally. And that was just an example. I could give you another example, because I that was really about, emotionally eating. Some people are afraid of like being broke, all right? And their thoughts is they don't want to be broke. They don't want to be broke. Whole time you're telling yourself you want to be broke. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how your subconscious mind is receiving it, because you're focusing on that low vibrational energy instead of saying that you are abundant, right? So your behaviors, you could be actually doing practical things that helps you, that can help you increase your bank account and whatever, but not to the extent where if you realize that you are already abundant, you are already rich, imagine the heights that you can go to. Now, there's people who always talking about they're actually broke, and it's making them feel bad and sad because they don't already know that they are abundant and they have access to prosperity, and so their behaviors is not even in alignment because they're not even in the energy to operate in behaviors that can help get them out of their situation, because they are thinking in low vibrational energy. So here's the cycle that I talk about. An imbalanced mind can create a cycle that impacts multiple areas of your life. All right. Some people may be aware of this cycle, or this may look familiar if you've studied psychology on your personal time or in school, or you've had a life coach or a therapist. All right. Your thoughts create this story, and it repeats until you become aware of it. Most people think they are reacting to situations, but many times they are reacting to the story they automatically told themselves about the situation. And that brings us to automatic thoughts, y'all. Hold on real quick, because I want to make sure my mic is still going. Yeah, it is, because I bumped my mic. So automatic thoughts. Automatic thoughts are the first thoughts that pop into your mind before you consciously choose them. They are quick and typically conditioned, and they often are rooted in past experiences. Something small or big can happen, and immediately your mind says, like, you're not good enough, you're not worthy of certain things. But you see how the matrix can play with your mind, this world. But so the thought creates an emotion, the emotion drives the behavior, like I said, and the behavior reinforces that belief, whatever belief that you have. Now, add triggers to that. People always talking about, oh, they trigger me. Whole time, I don't really think that people know the true essence of a trigger, which we'll get into right after this slide. But like quickly, it's like an emotional imprint connected to the event. When something happens in the present, it reminds your nervous system of something unresolved from the past, okay? And the reaction can be like disproportionate to what actually happened. And the reaction is based off a limiting belief. Now, a limiting belief is a belief that runs in the background of your life. It's like it's in your subconscious, and we're going to get into subconscious reprogramming. Some people believe they have to struggle to truly deserve things. Some people like feel like they are not enough, and therefore they lack, which is the opposite of abundance. They receive that program from somewhere. You may not even think that you believe these things, okay? Because it's not conscious, but your body might, because you were convinced somewhere. Your patterns, how you move, may show that you believe those things. Your nervous system is reacting to it, so it's perceiving certain situations as real, even though consciously you like, well, I know I'm this and I know I'm that, but subconsciously something happened. Something is in your subconscious saying that, well, there's a disagreement here. There's an imbalanced energy there. It could have been passed down from like maybe ancestral patterns, some family programming you receive, or societal programming, some religious programming that was put into your subconscious, all those things. I want to go back to like the family and the ancestral stuff. So the family stuff is like childhood experiences and conditioning that you received. The ancestral stuff can be like transgenerational trauma, and that includes some coping patterns that you may have inherited, and some inherited stress. So basically, you could have had an ancestor that went through something traumatic, like extreme dysfunction in a family household, war, slavery. That type of stuff can leave chemical markers on your DNA and be passed down to descendants. And then now you're responding to an event that occurred like 50 years ago, 100, 2, 3, 4, however many centuries ago, and the threat is no longer there, but you have been placed in an environment that can trigger that. There go that word, trigger that. And now you stressed out. Now you depressed. But I know some things that can help people change that. It's about elevating your frequency and changing your energy on the DNA level. Okay. Understanding this cycle is what gives you not only awareness but control. And that's what you want to be able to do. Control your energy and control your subconscious mind. I feel like we can go to this next slide. Okay, so now we're at triggers. I wanted to create a slide specifically for that, because this is important to understand your thinking and to recognize what certain things are. So triggers. Labeling triggers can activate the rational part of your brain, which is the left hemisphere, and it reduces emotional charge of a trigger. Okay, so some common cognitive distortions. This may look familiar to some people who are like aware of like cognitive behavioral therapy, which is CBT. So here's some cognitive distortions. This isn't all of them by far, but this is like the ones that I picked. So you got catastrophizing, jumping to conclusions. This is going to end badly. Jumping to conclusions, like you jumping over like 1,000 different things, and you settling like on the worst. Okay, personalizing things. Like, this is all about me. Somebody could be talking about like a group of people, and you're personalizing it. You know what I'm saying? Emotional reasoning. I feel unsafe, so I must be unsafe. That's not necessarily true. People have to learn between their intuition and anxiety. All right. And I teach people how to do that. This is part of that. And then over generalizing, which I used to experience a lot. And I used to experience the emotional reason too. I had to learn how to differentiate between my intuition and my anxiety, like I said. But overgeneralizing, like this always happens, knowing that it don't always happen. All right, it don't happen 100% of the time for many things. So understanding these cognitive distortions, doing the research on what that is, can help you understand how your mind is working, or how certain things are imbalanced in your mind. All right. So here's a CBT approach that you could use. It's so funny because I had an internship that was CBT. It was not my first choice, but the local government cut funding some years ago. And I think it may have been in other states, but I know it happened in Chicago, where a lot of mental health facilities closed. I lost my internship. I had to go through a third year of graduate school, and I was pissed off, but it happened for a reason, because I'm here telling y'all this stuff. My internship ended up being with CBT, and I used to work with people with addictions, and I still work with people with addictions. I just do it differently. And this is CBT is evidence based, and it could help you calm yourself, get an understanding of your mind, so you can go deeper and get a deeper understanding of your mind. So I actually used to work with people who were addicted to drugs, and who were in prostitution, because prostitution, sex work can become addictive. All right. Just like, gambling, a lot of things can be an addiction. But this cognitive approach is about cognitive restructuring. All right. So you have the situation which triggers you. So you want to think about what happened. And then there's an emotion. What am I feeling? And you can label that on a 0 to 10 scale. I got that underlined and in bold because a lot of people don't want to feel. That's why they're drinking. That's why they're using people as coping mechanisms, relationships, codependency, or say hypersexuality, or masturbating. Yeah, okay. That can be an addiction. Eating certain things, smoking, drinking, doing things excessively because they don't want to feel certain things. Because feeling anxiety, it can hurt. It can hurt mentally and physically. We'll talk about like things to help you with those feelings so you could get grounded and be able to functionally do this process. That's coming next. But you want to label that emotion. What are you feeling? You know what I'm saying? What happened? You know how you go through things and like you crying or you sad and somebody like, well, tell me what happened. This is what you got to do, or a therapist or a coach. Well, what happened? What are you feeling? From my clients to friends or family, I was like, so what you feeling right now? And some people don't know the different range of emotions either. They'll say, well, this happened. I'm like, I ain't asked you again what happened. I'm saying, how you feeling? Are you sad? Are you frustrated? Are you irritated? What are you feeling? And this leads to an automatic thought. And like I said, that comes fast. Sometimes the automatic thought can come before you even realize what you are feeling. Okay. Then there's the distortion. Identify your pattern. And it's more than the four above that exist. So I really encourage you to look at those patterns or those cognitive distortions. I do have a workshop that I'll mention towards the end where I talk more in depth about like how to do your own self-therapy and understand what are cognitive distortions. Then what is a more realistic interpretation? Okay. So here's an example. I work with people a lot with their relationships, which is so interesting because when I was like 13 or 14, I wanted to be a sex therapist because I wanted to help people understand like different parts of themselves from their sexual nature. But I didn't know that it will be more about balancing it. I didn't know it would be more about because sex has a lot to do with relationships. So sex therapists and relationship therapist is really what I truly wanted to be. So I can't say I just wanted to be a sex therapist because I wanted to help people understand their relationships. But so somebody didn't text you back. You triggered. That's a situation. Your emotion, you confused, you angry, you sad. Well, like what you feeling? This could be an automatic thought. They're losing interest. Some people can feel like somebody cheating on them. The distortion, mind reading and catastrophizing. Mind reading, like you are assuming that you know what somebody is doing, like they probably don't have any interest in you. Now that is connected to a self-worth issue, but it could be true in certain instances. All right. Don't get mind reading mixed up with like psychic, because sometimes people can mind read, but you have to understand that ability. But what's a more balanced thought? There could be many reasons. You don't have evidence yet until you do. All right. So that's just an example. Now, how to break the cycle. This is the most simple that I could make it. Observing without judgment is the very first step. But that is actually challenging for many people to do. It's the judgment part. You know what I'm saying? Because people judge themselves and they judge other people. Observing without judgment is really a practice, and you got to get into that practice. And it definitely requires loving yourself more and self-compassion. So it's going to start with you. You got to stop judging yourself, okay? You likely got to do some heart chakra work if you have a problem with judgment. Your heart chakra is connected to love for yourself and love for others. We are actually one of our biggest critics. So when you start practicing more self-love and self-care, forgiving yourself and others makes that part easier, all right? Also, meditation makes that easier too, because I know a lot of people, they have difficulty with meditation because they feel like, well, a thought just popped up, and you typically are being told to, well, just observe it. Don't judge it. Don't try to figure that out. Eventually, when you're meditating, when you go deeper into meditation, those thoughts pass, and then you start getting your messages, seeing the visions and things that you need to see. But the first step is observe without judgment and realizing that all thoughts aren't always true. Okay? Question and thought. Is it actually true? Is there evidence for or against that? Like I said in that previous example, like if the person is always, doing stuff for you, responding to you, they make themselves available for you, that's evidence that their losing interest is not true. Okay, but if it's the opposite, then it very well could be true. It's based on the evidence. And think about this to calm yourself down, because typically those distortions come with anxiety or depressive feelings, making you feel in some type of way. What would you tell a friend based on what they are experiencing in a balanced way? Okay, what's some good advice you'll tell a friend? And what would you prefer to believe? You can prefer to believe some bullshit, and that's denial. You want to know, what would you prefer to believe from a balanced perspective based on the evidence, all right? So you want to reprogram distorted thoughts. Here's a different example outside of the one I just gave you. So you can have an old thought like nothing ever works out for you. And the new thought, well, some things haven't worked out, but I'm learning and I'm growing. So that goes back to like a overgeneralizing things. You know what I'm saying? If you look like at the past, some things have worked out for you. So you can't say, well, nothing, because nothing is very absolute. So your intentional reprogramming will lead to an altering of your perception consciously. And so you can get into the habit of doing this. You just got to have consistency and the education of awareness of what is distorted thoughts. Say, for instance, it's true, all right? Some people can be, pulling your chain, leading you on, bullshitting you, whatever. Some people may have betrayed you. Sometimes that job ain't the job for you. You know what I'm saying? That means that you need to reprogram your behavior instead of just trying to bullshit yourself, which is forcing positivity. Don't try to force something that's just misaligned. That goes with jobs, relationships, ways of living. You know what I'm saying? That's what people are doing now, and it's causing them issues. Act with clarity instead of panic. Calm yourself down and get centered and grounded, and think about where you are, what has happened, and where you want to be. And going back to the emotion, you have to sit in that emotion. You have to feel it. You have to feel it. If you try to suppress it, all you're going to do is cause yourself issues. And that's taking me to this next slide. Emotional body. I need some water, y'all. Hold on. So this is the emotional body map. I'll talk about this in the solutions part of my workshop. All right. If you start to pay attention to your body versus numbing or ignoring it, you'll start to understand what it is saying to you, because your body literally will talk to you through feeling, or I can hear my body. I guess you can call it clairaudient or something like that. I could hear it in words. I could sense it. But this is the emotional body map, just the front. I didn't make this map at all. I can link it in the description box. but this is the front side. And I don't know if y'all could see this, but there's a right and a left side with different meanings. Like, for instance, the 8, which is on both sides, means heart shielded from love or love is painful. The 11 here, which is the inside of their arm, overextending with thoughts, concerns, but that's on the right side. And the right side is actually the masculine energy. You could call that your father's side, okay? You can experience pain, tension, or sensations in different areas of your body. If you look at this map, it could tell you what your body is trying to tell you, just in general. So if you can't hear your body or sense what is going on, you could go to this map and it can reveal some emotions corresponding with that specific area of your body. I don't know the exact creator of this map, but I gotta credit Khadijah for introducing this to me. I took a chakra workshop of hers like right before the pandemic, and yeah, this was really helpful. But yeah, your body is always trying to get you back into harmony. And understand, pain and tension often reflect some type of unprocessed emotion. All right. I really want to say this. Disease originates in your mind. Okay. It often starts in your mind and emotionally before it pops up on your body. And sometimes people get, so far along that it pops up on their body, but it was like some mental or spiritual emotional thing going on with you before it popped up, on your body. But let me see if there's anything else I want to say about this. A few things that you could do with this map as well is pay attention to where you have certain injuries, past or present, that can indicate like certain imbalances or chakras that you need to balance here. I like to say this when somebody is going through something, I'd be like, well, where are you feeling it in your body? If you're triggered, determine where you're feeling it at in your body. Sit with yourself and label that emotion and look at this map. All right. So let's move on to the next slide. Like I said, I talk more about that in my workshop, and I think I'm going to make more videos about that. I talked about automatic thoughts already, but I want to mention intrusive thoughts because I feel like some of what people are talking about is intrusive thoughts are like their psychic perception, their psychic sensitivity. But let me first say this. So an intrusive thought isn't an automatic thought. It's just that it's sudden, it's unwanted ideas or images, and it can make you feel uncomfortable. It can make you feel embarrassed, shameful, or fearful. All right. A lot of people are experiencing this right now because things from their past is coming up. So spiritually and metaphysically, the intrusive thoughts can be connected to your childhood experiences and conditioning. I actually feel that some intrusive thoughts are connected to people's like past lives as well, and as ancestral ones. And with certain techniques and energy work, you can reduce these or help you understand these better, or be able to unpack what is going on with you. Okay. So I think I started out by saying that intrusive thoughts, I feel like, can be psychic perception based on what I've experienced. Okay. Sensitive people can perceive others' energy and subtle shifts as symbolic imagery, my bad. Or spirits and entities. This is a big ass typo there. My bad. But it still reminded me. I don't know what was going on right there. I was trying to hurry up and finish this slide. So, for instance, psychic gifts, how it's being presented to you, can be impacted by like your environment as well. Okay. and that can cause fear or irritation. And I'm going back to, you need to understand your power and learn how to use it. If you have some intrusive thoughts and you are starting to realize that you have psychic abilities, okay? So let me explain this. We are going through the spiritual shift, right? And the veil has thinned. There's entities and spirits on the low vibrational side that could mess with your mind, okay? So you want to be mindful of illusions, all right? And it could, it can make you uncomfortable. That's why it's so important for you to have like spiritual protection and spiritual boundaries. Yes, there's things that you can do in like this physical world to have spiritual protection and boundaries, cleansing your energetic field, working with nature, nature like spirits, natural like things like crystals. And I actually take a tonic that provides me with spiritual protection that I actually got from a herbalist and a healer called Dr. Be Serious. But I also have some things that I do myself with my own mind to create spiritual protection, and you can call upon your spiritual protection as well. I want to talk about spiritual gifts though. I hope I'm not jumping around. And we almost done like with the slides. We about to get to the solutions in a minute. I have the spiritual ability to see when somebody is having like an emotional sickness or physical sickness or something that's about to occur. I see it in my mind's eye. I see it like a vision, and it used to make me so uncomfortable, and I'm about to tell you why. I can see when somebody has holes in their energetic field. This is just one example. And I see it as bullet holes. Like I see bullets hitting their energy. Oh my God. It used to be so distressing. Seeing like a loved one in bullet holes around them, or bullets flying towards them around their body, around their head and stuff like that. I didn't know that my spirit was just showing me that I'm seeing holes in their energetic field, in their auric field, which allows for like certain things to either manipulate their mind, like I said, these spirits, entities, or other people thought forms, or allow for like certain sicknesses to come in and disrupt them. All right. You can cause your own holes in your energetic field as well, by, certain beliefs, certain ways of living, certain things that you're eating, never cleansing, never detoxing. So I would see it like that. And I still see it like that, but it doesn't scare me anymore. It used to cause me fear because I didn't know what I was seeing. But now I know how to operate in that ability. Okay. So I hope I explained that part well. All right. But it did used to cause me, like I said, fear or irritation. But I strengthened my gifts, and I'm more grounded. And as far as like hearing, I do hear negative entities and frequencies, but I always had this type of personality. And excuse my language, but I'm not about to allow like a human to like fuck with me. Like you not about to talk crazy to me. You not about to. That's the type of personality I got. Like you ain't about to come in with me with no bullshit, and I just allow you to. No. I'm not about to let a spirit do it neither. Yes, I have strong boundaries, and I got a lot of protective spirits around me. My ascended ancestors, I also have cosmic beings protected me. I also have like just a whole bunch of different protectors that don't even speak. All of them don't speak the language that I speak, but they got me. You get what I'm saying? And so I have spiritual boundaries as well. But if I hear some negative stuff that try to play with me, I'm like, no, like I talk to you like I'm gonna talk to somebody that's in this physical world. And it don't be pretty, but you about to get out. You about to get away from me. I don't play that. And a lot of people in my family are like that too. We don't play those type of games. All right. You're not about to make me feel like something is like an entity, a negative entity, or a spirit, a negative spirit, or whatever you want to call it, will try to make you feel like you less than, or make you feel like you like something's wrong with you, like you're disgusting, or try to make you feel shameful and all of that stuff, which is out of alignment, right? So, well, at least, some, I won't get into that, but it is some, I'm almost about to get into it. Let's just talk about the soul-based beings that are like light energy. All right. The shame, the fear, the disgust is out of alignment with you, and you got to get balanced. But it's entities that feed off your light. Some people call them archonic forces. You know what I'm saying? You can just call them unclean spirits. But let's move on. That's what my mom likes to call them. What you can do with intrusive thoughts. You could say, that's an intrusive thought. You want to label it. I usually be like, damn, that was wild. You know what I'm saying? But I know that I have to understand what is going on with me. So I'm like, oh, okay, that was a thought. Let me unpack that. What you don't want to do is suppress it, because suppress it can make it more persistent. All right. We're getting into some solutions now. You want to ground and regulate your nervous system, ground your energy. So I wanted to add right here that the techniques and solutions I'm about to go over are not just for intrusive thoughts. You can use these techniques for anxiety and stress in general, and even when you are feeling depressive feelings or deep sadness. For instance, working with water energy can help you release stagnant low vibrational energy. Grounding outside puts you back in nature, where you can get exposure to negative ions, which improves your mood. Also, sunlight improves your mood because sunlight stimulates your brain to produce serotonin, also known as a happy hormone. And the body will also produce vitamin D when your skin is exposed to the sun's UVB rays, which plays a major role in brain health and immune function. Vitamin D deficiency is associated with increased risk of depression. So you don't have to be actively experiencing intrusive thoughts to use these techniques. You can use these to help calm you down and bring you peace. This allows for you to be more stable and able to explore where certain issues are coming from, so that you can make the necessary changes. You can ground outside regularly. This helps your body, especially with like inflammation and balancing your energy. But it also helps you sleep better. It helps your nervous system, okay? Slow breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. That, and hold it in, my bad. It's called 4-7-8 breathing. That's just one example. That can, calm you. It helps you lower your blood pressure, reduce anxiety. It's like a reset, okay? I do Pilates. We do this a lot in Pilates, and it helps you release like the tension within you. Water energy. So I work a lot with water energy. I work a lot with the elementals, the elements, just in general. And you could like put cold water on your face, take a shower. Showering actually helps ground me. I learned that on a shroom trip. I had a lot of anxiety. It was crazy. And I didn't know it was this much until I was taking plant medicine, and you come down, right? And as I would settle into my body, oh my God, I would be so anxious. It would be ridiculous how anxious I would be. Somebody had an idea of like, just get in the shower. So if you're experiencing it, you got to do something. You can't go outside. Take slow breaths in the shower. Spiritual practices. I work with water spirits. I ask for their assistance. This is a very spiritual channel. So if this ain't for you, let me tell you, you're going to hear some stuff on here. I work with water energies. All right. There's different types of water energies. And I ask for their assistance. I speak into my water. Speak into your water, speak into your food. It structures the water based on what you are speaking into it. I take spiritual baths. I'll leave links to like some spiritual practices that you can use with water energy. Move your body. As I said, I do Pilates, but you could do yoga. I do yoga every now and then. That helps release tension and emotions, trapped emotions in your body. I remember when I was making my workshop, I had like some stuck energy in my neck because I've had throat chakra issues like throughout my life. Not anymore, clearly, since I'm making videos now. You couldn't get me to do this type of stuff. Oh my God. But my throat chakra is more open. But I was experiencing throat chakra issues as I was making the slides for my workshop. I went to yoga and I had a kundalini. I've had multiple kundalini experiences, but I had a kundalini experience that night. I had a blockage, and the yoga was allowing for me to balance energy and get the energy moving within me. All right. And be mindful of what you consume. We won't go back over that again. Okay. But you know what I mean. Change the meaning. You know, many of these intrusive thoughts are ego dystonic, so they can go against your values, causing you to have shame. I'm hearing stuff right now. I'm channeling stuff like they're trying to send me information right now. Work with your intuition and not fear. Okay, I'm hearing. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of who you are, your abilities, and people. I just heard, don't be afraid of people. Maybe it is, don't be afraid of what people think. Also, watch for compulsions. Okay, that includes reassurance seeking, replaying events, confessing repeatedly, checking behaviors. Compulsions. I believe I have a slide on that. But my anxiety was so through the roof that I would check stoves often because I just didn't feel safe, which means I needed to work on my root chakra. And I've heard a few people say this, and I didn't know that this was a thing. Hit and run compulsions. I experienced anxiety so much where I would be walking, not walking, driving down the street, and I would go back around the corner to make sure I didn't hit anybody. And it wouldn't make sense for me to do it because many times I would experience this, nobody was outside. So I was like just straight tweaking. You know what I mean? And I don't do that no more. But I know a few people who do that, and I thought I was the only person. But I just found out recently that's called hit and run compulsions or OCD or something like that. Why you want to watch for compulsions is it reinforces a loop. Okay? The brain learns something must be dangerous and we must stay safe. So let me keep checking this shit over and over and over again. This is connected to root chakra imbalance. The root chakra is connected to safety, survival, security, and it's connected to your family. When you're balanced, you feel secure and you trust more. When you're imbalanced, you're anxious, hyper vigilance. You also have financial fears, or you don't have to have all these. But, you know, you can have fear-based clinging to people and situations, and excessive material attachments because they make you feel secure. The roots of imbalance is typically connected to early childhood and ancestral survival patterns, but it also can be connected to trauma. Okay. I work a lot with the chakras and I teach people about chakras and how to balance their chakras kind of differently than what you see online. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Subconscious reprogramming. So give me 1 second, y'all. Okay, subconscious reprogramming. I wanted to give y'all a tip on subconscious reprogramming. So I know people call it affirmations or whatever, but I like to call them commands, okay? Because commands make me feel like they're more powerful. And then I like to think of it as like literal programming of myself. So I'm using words like you would have on a computer, that more like a Mac, but but yeah. But affirmations and commands work when they are felt. Okay, you want to tap into the energy of the command. That's why it's so important for you to start tapping into your emotions. All right. And when you tap more into your emotions, understanding yourself, you can tap into the other emotions at will. Think about times where you felt happy, safe, or joyful, and tap into that energy. Think about that time when you got that money. Apply that to, whatever it is that you are trying to program yourself with. What you can do actually is plant seeds at night and activate them in a day. So what you can do is say your affirmations right before you go to sleep. This is a great time because of the hypnagogic state that you'll be going into. And that's like you going into your theta wave. Okay, you're highly suggestible at that time. That's why it's so important for you to be mindful of what you watch before you go to sleep. This is the last message you hear before you go to sleep, and you gave it to yourself. All right, so you're planting that seed. When you're awakening, it's called the hypnopomic state, and you're transitioning from theta to alpha. This is a perfect time to say what you are grateful for and your commands. Okay, because your conscious mind is activating, and you could do it throughout the day. I have seen amazing results. The thing is that you have to be consistent. All right, you have to repeat your commands consciously, verbally, very like frequently. You're reprogramming yourself. It took time for you to get to where you are with a certain programming. It could take time for you to reprogram it, and that's what we're going to talk about next. But align your actions with that command too. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So the time frame of reprogramming is important. With starting anything new or a habit, it does take time and it takes consistency. So this is just an example of what that could look like. I remember my very first time of intentionally reprogramming my subconscious mind. I really started to see results probably in about within 2 months. I experienced a period where I had to find a new job because my the organization that I was working for, it closed down the program. I was an assistant director of a program for girls that were survivors of sex trafficking, right? And so, I had to come up with a way to support the lifestyle that I created over a period of years. And plus I was living check to check, so it was stuff that was just crazy. Though I had a severance, I had to hurry up and like change some things so I could not be like out on the streets. I still had a condo I had to pay for, a car, all type of stuff, right? Brother Panic, who I mentioned at the beginning of the video, he used to talk about, because he's an ancestor now, he used to talk about like how to reprogram the subconscious mind, what the subconscious mind is. He's the person that I actually learned what a therapist is truly supposed to do. Mind you, at that time, I've been in mental health, I think about 4 or 5 years or something like that. But post college, post graduate school. And he said that what a therapist is supposed to do is to teach you how to understand your subconscious mind. He used to give out a lot of book lists, and one of the books was How to Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind, I believe by James Van Fleet or something like that. And so he had a bunch of techniques within that book, the author. One of them was to write down whatever it is that you wanted to do and look at it, during certain times of the day. Like, keep saying this to yourself, right? And I did that, and I was also doing the practical things to increase my income. I got into like freelancing. I was freelancing for a few different companies. Then I actually got into using my skills as far as like psychic readings, because I was like, oh, I could use this. I could help people and support myself. The behaviors that I was using to change my circumstances was matching what I wrote down. I just didn't know it was going to be to the grand level that it eventually became years later. So eventually, I ended up changing my energy so much. I attracted a job on the platform. It was a freelance platform I was working for, Upwork. And I ended up working directly for corporate on the website that I was using. They found me within like 2 to 3 months of this change I was making. And so it actually goes along with the time frame, here. Eventually my core identity started to change. I was no longer living check to check. A lot of things with me changed, and it has stuck with me throughout the years. And that was 8 years ago. Talk about a cycle flip. I flipped out of that cycle into something that was more expansive. Okay. So consistency is important. Repetition is important. Your behaviors are important. And I was going through a lot of things emotionally during that time. And I had to get grounded during that time because my father was in the like he was transitioning. And for me being a daddy's girl, I had to ground my energy, not lose my mind, tap into my spiritual abilities, and go through this my own ascension process during that period. That was something else. But I was able to overcome so many things within myself, learn about spirituality, learn about like what it is on the other side, because my father's transition, him becoming an ancestor, allowed me to tap deep into the other dimensions because I'm a daddy's girl. I needed to maintain my connection while still living my best life here and not losing my mind through grief, because that could be something else when you have such a deep connection. So I said that to say, like, you can change your circumstances even when you are having the most chaotic tower moment in your life. And I say a tower moment because I'm so used to doing tarot. That's a tarot. That's a major arcana in the tower. That's a major arcana. Let me slow down in the tarot deck. So it's about, major events, upheavals, and a lot of people are going through tower moments at this time and have been. It's just more extreme now because we feel more and things are moving faster. So signs that it's working. Your automatic thought starts to change, shift naturally with ease. Your emotional reactions to old triggers soften or become non-existent. Your life circumstances reflect a new mindset, and your inner world begins to match the outer world, and it becomes better. Your outer world becomes better. This is a part of changing your reality. This is manifesting a new reality. So everything that I've talked about, these different techniques that you can do, could help you reduce stress, reduce anxiety, understand your subconscious mind, and help you with the ascension symptoms that you are experiencing. So basically what you want to do is elevate your frequency. You want to use techniques to balance your energy, to help ground you while you discover more about who you are on the inside, okay? There's other mind body practices, energy work, psychological and somatic tools, subconscious reprogramming techniques, herbal healing, increasing your intuitive and psychic abilities, all help elevate your frequency. All right. I teach all of this in my workshop except for herbal healing. I'm not a herbalist. I've had my own herbalist. I've learned from quite a few herbalists. One being one of the very first people that was taught by Dr. Sebi. Her name is Mama Peel. Her other name is Annette Thomas. She's amazing. She changed my life. But I've also learned from Dr. Sebi's teaching. After he became an ancestor, I worked with Mama Peel directly. I learned from Dr. B. Serious. I have Dr. Layla Africa books. They have like different perspectives, but it's all, good knowledge to have. So what I teach about herbal healing is how to deeply connect with the herbs, the energy that is being used to help elevate your frequency. And yes, you can do that. I got different techniques that you can use to help you on your either herbal or detox journey, because I've been on that journey for years, not as an herbalist, but as a person who uses herbs as maintenance and detoxification. I've had so many different experiences. My channeling became clear with herbs. You really want to get into understanding the elements and how they are used to elevate your frequency and keep your life force energy harmonious and expanding. Okay. All of these practices help you connect with different forms of healing. All right. What's going on now is that there's cosmic support available to those that are ready. All right. But you must match that frequency so you can receive the assistance. And so these different things that I have here and even talk to you about can help you elevate your frequency so you can receive this assistance. I actually had to stop this video. I heard while I had this video on pause that they need to learn how to do meditation. So I'm going to link this heart chakra meditation in the description box. I'm going to create a video on how to easily do meditation. I have one on TikTok, but my meditation skills have advanced since that point. So I'm going to do like a one-on-one version and then a more advanced version. So Spirit wanted, some people to understand that. But, to wrap up this video, I just want to let all y'all know it is time to get connected with your body, your higher self, your cosmic family, so you can heal and transform. Okay. It's time for you to change your energy. Let go of things that do not serve you. You don't have to keep living the way that you are living. You can experience your heaven on earth. All right. All is not lost. I feel like it's time for us to really start being authentically us. Okay, no more hiding behind masks. You can break the chains. Okay, a lot of us are angelic beings, and we have been chained to certain things that don't match us. That's out of alignment with us. That's shit that's holding us back, and we don't have to do that. We don't have to live like that. All right. This takes me to my workshop. All right, it's called the Alchemist Path. You can master intuition, energy mastery, and understand different things that you could do to elevate your frequency and transform. I think I already said it's very self-help friendly and practitioner friendly. I teach different forms of alchemy, healing practices, intuition enhancement, things I already mentioned in this video, other self-healing techniques. We talk about, what's going on in this world, other dimensions, yourself, what's going on energetically, spiritually, psychologically. We talk about, how to manifest. I also teach how to enhance your intuition. I teach divination skills. I teach tarot. I get into like lifespan development and childhood development. That's really psychology based, but I integrate a metaphysical perspective as well. I talk about how to do DNA healing holistically, different things that you could do to heal from trauma, parental and ancestral patterns. We even get into toxic relationships, fairies, the elementals, things that are holding you back and how you can shift out of that, how you can shift to different timelines. Okay. And it's a whole bunch of other stuff. So what I'm going to do is put my link of the workshop in the description box. I actually have one coming up on the 7th. You can still sign up. You can sign up as, I would say at least by the 6th, because I'm going to take it down at midnight. I need everybody to have their links and whatever else they need for the workshop. It's a 2-day one and it's a 4-day one. But you can see all the topics that I will cover. Well, almost all, because I'm still channeling information and Spirit is like, put that in there. Just like Spirit told me I needed to teach people how to do CBT, but from a spiritual and metaphysical perspective, and tell people like really what's going on with them. Okay. So I hope this video is helpful. If it is, share in the comments, like, share the video, subscribe. I have so much more coming. And I wish everybody success, peace, okay? A lot of peace. And, stay safe and stay focused. And I hope to see y'all back. Like, I want to do another video, maybe in about 2 weeks. Or maybe I will like record some of my workshop and post it on here. I just want to provide people with more solutions. But yeah, I will catch y'all later.